personally pleaded today with Yuli Edelstein to respect the court's decision, even though he may not like it, allow that vote. What do you think is going to happen tomorrow? And what would a party like yours, which strongly, unequivocally supports Prime Minister Netanyahu, but wants to see this vote take place tomorrow as the court has mandated?
Well, unfortunately, the situation has really been taken out of Speaker Edelstein's hands. That's what Matan Kahana was saying in Parliament today, and that is the way that we see it. Look, we feel that the current situation in which the Supreme Court is really disturbing the balance of powers here. This is not a case that they should have taken. This is not something that they should have made a decision on. This just proves why we need to have judicial reform in Israel. But that being said, if we are in a situation where there is a final verdict from the Supreme Court and we do not follow it, you know, that unfortunately, as Jordanich has said, that sends us to a constitutional crisis. That's not a place that we want to be in. So I think, again, you know, Yuli Edelstein is correct that he should not have had this vote up until now. But now that there is a verdict and he needs to go ahead and follow that verdict, it's really been taken out of his hands. Now, what he can do is wait till 11:59 p.m., and that would be what I would urge him to do, wait till the last possible minute. And I would also not go ahead and tell the Supreme Court what he was going to do until the very last minute. Let them sweat. But in the end, you just need to follow the rule of law because we live in a democracy.
And if he doesn't, your party, which has supported the government and Prime Minister until now, what position would it take after that if it doesn't happen? You
know, as they say, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. I just don't think we're going to get there. Right. I know Speaker Edelstein really well. He's been really a statesman. He's been a really great person to fill that role for already a number of Knessets. Of course, the last 3 Knessets were very close to each other, but also the 2 Knessets before that. I just don't see a situation in which he does not follow through with the Supreme Court. Of course, he's had no indication. He's not said at all that he's not going to listen to them. Right. But once again, the Supreme Court should not have ruled here.
Okay, you've made that point. Jordana, Prime Minister Netanyahu says that if that vote to replace Edelstein is held, that will kill any chance of a unity government. But is maybe the Prime Minister bluffing? Perhaps Blue and White might think it just puts itself in a stronger position in these negotiations.
Absolutely. First of all, I think the Prime Minister is bluffing. I do not believe this will kill the negotiations. Blue and White has long wanted to replace the Speaker of House, which is customary for the majority. Remember, there are rules that govern when votes are made. In Israel, it's based on a majority. 61 is a majority out of 120. We can kind of think of the example of the United States. Some people don't like the Electoral College, but you don't win the presidency by a popular vote, right? So these are the rules, and for sure, it is going to put General Benny Gantz in a stronger position. But we have to remember the two sides continue to talk about a kind of emergency unity government, and it's still unclear who will lead it first. We've heard mixed messages from General Benny Gantz. Earlier this week, he said he won't rule out letting Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu lead that government first for a short period. Today, he seems to be saying that he indeed wants to be the first one to lead. But there are those kind of negotiations going on, and I don't think they will break down over the Speaker of the House. And I believe in the end, Yuli Edelstein will hold that vote. Remember, he is hoping that one day he will be Israel's president. Calev?
Yes, and Jeremy, one of the sticking points in making that unity government is who gets to be the justice minister, because whoever that is will be overseeing the corruption trial of Benjamin Netanyahu, which is actually now getting underway. Now, a member of your own party, Ayelet Shaked, was removed by that position, and Prime Minister Netanyahu put a loyalist, Amir Ohana, in. Do you think, maybe agree with Jordana, that if after this vote tomorrow, that will increase the chances of a unity government, maybe a compromise on issues like that?
Well, I think Ayelet Shaked is a great compromise candidate to bring her back to the Justice Ministry. She's not from Likud or Blue and White. But what I do think is that once Yuli Edelstein is removed, what Blue and White is going to do is continue with their strategy, which is to take the pieces of legislation they put on the first day of the new Knesset back last Monday and pursue with them, which will prevent Netanyahu from receiving a second mandate. They feel that that will go ahead and improve their negotiating position. That's why right now the coalition is boycotting all of the discussions within the Knesset. We're doing so to show that we are behind Benjamin Netanyahu as a bloc of 58. I think that actually this vote for Edelstein, unfortunately, could send us towards a fourth election because it's a unilateral move being done in a situation that can really, in this fragile atmosphere, send us to the brink.
All right. Well, that's going to be a very interesting day in Parliament tomorrow. Jeremy Saltan here in the studio. Jordana Miller and Jerusalem, thanks for joining us.